Hi guys, this is Joe from joecolantonio.com. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the new database activity in Service Test 11.10. So before, you had to actually go and drag and drop a custom code activity into Service Test, and then you had to create your own code as you see here. But now, when you open up Service Test 11.10, there's a new activity folder called Database. And under Database, there's a bunch of different database activities you can perform on a database. So what we're going to do is we're going to open a connection first. So let's drag this open connection onto the canvas area. Next, underneath the property sheet, you want to go to the connection string. And for the value, you're just going to point to, you're going to use the connection builder to point to your server. So I'm just going to click on this connection builder icon. And it'll bring up a data link properties window. Now you can choose your provider. I'm using SQL Server, so I'm going to select the default SQL Server one and then go to Connections. And for server, I'm just going to enter in my server name, and I'm going to enter in my username and password for that server and select the database that I'm using. One thing you want to make sure is selected is this Allow Saving Password, because if you don't click on this Allow Saving Password, you're going to get some errors in Service Test, and it's going to drive you crazy until you realize that you forgot to select this. So you want to enter in your database name, your username, your password. Make sure this Allow Saving Password is selected and you're pointing to what the database that you want to connect to on the server. Alright, so we have our connection set up, so let's select some data from our database. So we'll go underneath the database activity and select the Select Data activity. So for connection, we're just going to click on the link to data source, and we're going to point to our connection that we set up earlier. So we're going to click on the connection properties, click OK. And for the query string, you can either type in a SQL statement, select star from, or whatever your SQL statement is, or once again you can use they have a query builder. So let's click on the build a SQL query string. Click on this query builder guy. And for the table, just select your table. I just have one table set up, and I just want to return everything basically. I only have 5 records in my database right now. If we were to look at my database, you can see this is what Service Test is pointing to. I know it's working because if I look at my SQL Server database itself, it's the same exact records. So all is good. So click OK. And OK. Also underneath my property sheet, I'm going to put in a quick checkpoint just to verify that the first row contains the name Windows XP. Once again, if I look at my data in my SQL Server, I know the first row has Windows XP as the name that should be returned. So click on name and just enter in Windows XP. And let's run the test. Great, it passed. The checkpoint passed. If we look at what was returned, the results, we can see that the checkpoint Windows XP did indeed equal Windows XP. Awesome. You can also do an insert into by using this execute command. So let's take a quick look at that also. So drag execute command onto your main canvas area. Once again, point to your previous connection. Then enter in your command. So I'm going to do an insert into my table, just one record. And this is the record before the insert. It only has 5 records. So let's run this and see what happens. Awesome, it passed. If we looked at my table in the database, we can see there's a new record with this value server 2003.